Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another walk around. If you are new to my channel or new to this type of video on my channel, let me briefly explain. It is a video where I walk around the car and it is essentially a static review. If you are a new viewer, hello, my name's Aaron, welcome to my channel. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe and to click the bell icon. Anyway, that's aside, onto the car I've been spending my week with, which is the brand new Cupra Formentor. So as always, I will take you around the car, talk you through the specification and give you my first impressions. Now I want to kick off with the front end because I think this is going to be a little bit divisive. I want to say from the get-go, I don't think this is an ugly car, far from it. Cupra has said it has become obsessed with design, and I think for the new Formentor, it's trying a bit too hard with the front end. I actually prefer the look of the pre-facelift. I think it's sharper, a bit more striking, and it just seems a bit more individual, I suppose. This front end, I would argue, looks a bit generic, but maybe I'm wrong. Come and fight me in the comment section. Now, you know what I mean. Yeah, I would be quite interested to hear your thoughts, guys, because I'm not sold on the front end, but it's still a very good looking car in my opinion. Now, the new Formentor is available from £34,150. For that, you will get the V1 trim level with the 1.5 litre turbocharged petrol. Now, I don't have that. I have the VZ1, and under the bonnet, I have a 2 litre turbocharged petrol. It is, of course, the Volkswagen Automotive Group EA888, which has become an icon of an engine. So we will discuss that in a little bit more detail as the video goes on. In regards to the starting price of this car, this trim level, it is £46,385. Now, the only option this car has is the graphene grey paintwork, which is £995, which I think is quite a lot of money, really. So yeah, this car you see in front of you is £47,670. So the paint is the only option. Everything else you see is standard. Now, talking of paint, sadly, the petrol blue paintwork has been dropped. I was a big fan of that shade of paint, but you can't get it anymore. And I would argue that the colour choices left in the Formentor for the facelift are a little bit bland, but that's my opinion. Now, I do really dig the alloys. They're 19-inch, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 19-inch. Wrapped around with Bridgestone Taranzas, which wouldn't be my first choice of tyre, but they've done a pretty good job. Credit where credit's due. I'd really be looking for a Michelin Pilot Sport. Is it the 5? Pilot Sport 5 is the latest version, maybe even the 6, I've lost track, or the Goodyear Eagle F1. They would be my two go-to tyres. But to be fair, I've had Bridgestones in the past, and they're pretty good. It's very cold in the UK. It's 4.5 degrees today. So yeah, I'm thankful this isn't on Pirelli P0s, because P0s, in my experience, in the cold, yeah, they're just not particularly good. Yeah, so let me talk you through what's standard. 19-inch alloys, LED lights, which are very sharp. I will cut to a few clips of the lights, no doubt. Keyless entry, but the car's already unlocked. Let me step inside. Now, there's a few key changes for the interior of the car. The upholstery is made using either 73% recycled microfiber or environmentally conscious leather. That's leather. That's a cow that's been apologised to before it's met its maker. I presume. That's silly. Anyway, moving on. Let me actually step inside the car. I'm going to take you off my little tripod. So I've got better manoeuvrability. Oh, make myself comfortable. Oh. Right, let me turn on the ignition. Actually, fire up the engine so I can get the steering wheel straight. Any excuse to fire up the 2 litre turbo. There we go. Turn the ignition back on. So, other changes to the interior. The digital cockpit has been revised, and as you will quickly see, there is a larger touchscreen at your disposal. It's 12.9 inches, and it's quite a dominating, commanding feature of the cabin. It's telling me the battery's low. It's just where I've had the ignition on where I've been filming bits, so I'm going to turn the engine on. Yes, so you've got a larger touchscreen. It's just as sleek and sexy to look at as the last Formentor, but sadly it's almost as fiddly as the old car to use whilst on the move. Now I say almost because there's quite a large change for this touchscreen. The Volkswagen Automotive Group have finally seen sense, and these sliders at the bottom, which would normally remain dark when you're driving at night time, they are now illuminated, which should have always have been the case. But anyway, we can stop complaining about it now because yeah, in the new Formentor this design flaw has been addressed. So thank you Cupra, thank you Volkswagen Automotive Group, although yeah, this problem should never have existed to begin with. Anyway, moving on before I digress massively. One could argue it's too late for that. You've got a reversing camera with front and rear parking sensors, pretty standard affair. One could argue you would expect that on a car of this price and trim level, which I fully appreciate. You can actually change the cameras as well. There we go, I much prefer that one. Pop it back into park. You've got a 7-speed DSG. You can't have this as a manual. 7-speed DSG only, and power is fed to all four wheels via Cupra's 4-drive system. It has got the new torque splitter, which is used in the Audi S3 and the Golf R. Actually, let me talk you through the drive modes. So you have a button on the steering wheel, much like the old Formentor, where you can access the drive modes. And if I bring you down here on the digital cockpit, a little bit out of focus, but as you will kind of see, the icons change, albeit they are a touch out of focus. Apologies. You can access the driving modes through the touchscreen as well. So you have a few available. You have comfort, and this car is kind of Jekyll and Hyde. When you have it in comfort, you're just cruising around town, you wouldn't quite know the potent engine you have under the bonnet and the power you have under your right foot. Yes, the suspension is still on the firm side, but it's controlled and it's composed. So yeah, could you daily this car? I think you definitely could. And then you have performance, which obviously steps things up a little bit, and I like the way how it changes to what looks to be a B road, or maybe that's one of the roads leading to the Nürburgring, who knows. Or this would be awesome on the Nürburgring. Then you have Cupra. Hopefully you would have heard in the background that the revs climbed a little bit. So if I just take it out of Cupra, and you'll see the revs rise, and you can hear there's a change in the engine note. And I love Cupra mode because it gives you some kind of sense of what it would be like to kick a sleeping dragon. It just, you're waking up a beast, and my word, it sounds good. Yes, okay, the engine noise is pumped into the cabin and it is a composed sound, which some purists may scoff at, but I really like it. It adds to the occasion, it feels special, and it certainly adds to the excitement. Then you have individual mode. If you go up here into settings, you can change the DCC, that's the dynamic chassis control, if I remember correctly. And as you can see, whoever set this up previously has opted more towards comfort. And you can also change the steering, engine, exterior engine sound, the ACC, adaptive cruise control, I'm guessing, air conditioning, and the torque splitter. So the torque splitter is a very clever bit of kit. It's able to change the amount of power being spread across the rear wheels on the fly. It helps to reduce understeer when you're going through the corners, and because it can send up to all of its power to just one of the rear wheels, you get a drift mode. And obviously it politely says that you essentially need to be on the right place with the right driving skills. Yeah, so the drift drive profile is intended solely for private roads or racetracks and should only be used by someone with the appropriate driving skills. Do you really want to activate drift? And then you have off-road, which was available on the last Cupra Formentor, and I'd argue is pointless. Some of you may disagree with that, but who's really going to be taking this off-road? You haven't got the right ground clearance, and those alloys are just begging to be scuffed if you take this off-road. So yeah, if I owned this car, and believe me, I wish I could own this car, I would not be entertaining the off-road mode whatsoever. Now, you can't see it because it's too light, but with each driving mode, the interior lights, which sweeps all around the door card, the dashboard, back to the other door card, they change. And one setting I really like, again, you're not going to be able to see it now, I'm going to try and dub in some footage. But when you're in Cupra mode, as you accelerate, the interior lights get more vibrant, and that's really cool, and it really appeals to the 10-year-old in me. So yeah, I really do like that. So that's the driving modes covered. Let's come out of that. Yeah, like the last Formentor, the touchscreen is very nice to look at, but it's not the most intuitive or easy to use on the move. You've got 3-zone climate control. You've got a wireless phone charging pad, 2 Type-C USB ports, which is becoming the norm in vehicles. I know I jokingly moaned about this feature a while ago on, I think it was the Seat Leon, and I got a bit of stick for it, fair enough. But yeah, you've got those, and you've got 2 Type-C USB ports in the back as well. Moving on to storage. The joys of modern cars. I can't do anything without being warned about something. So yeah, the door bins they can fit in a 500ml bottle, or if I bring you over here, that's a litre bottle, and that fits in nicely. There's also a bit of space for a few small items, so I've just got a few napkins in there, which is always handy to have. 2 cup holders in the middle, one of which is larger and the other one's smaller, ideal for my innocent smoothie. Other smoothies are available. Glove box is of a decent size, as you can see. No sunglasses holder, which is a bit of a shame, but it's grey and dreary, so I definitely don't need sunglasses for today. And you've got storage underneath the adjustable armrest, as well as a 12-volt socket. Lovely stuff. Right, let me turn the engine off because I don't really need the ignition anymore. Actually, before I do that, you can change the various displays, so I'm going to zoom you in. I must admit, I haven't really played about with these that much. So you can have your temps, which I keep it on because I'm nerdy. You've got other settings there. Fuel economy, boring. Who really cares about fuel economy in a car like this? So let's go back to that, and you can change the display in the middle as well, like so. Oh, a pheasant coming into land outside. You may have heard it on my audio. And then you also change that as well. Oh, look at G meter. That's really handy in the school run, isn't it? Yeah, so that's quite straightforward. And you can also make it like that. Yeah, it's quite adjustable. Oh, I've not had it on that one before. That's quite driver focused. I like that one. Yeah, I could play about with that for a long time. So let's move away from that. In fact, let's turn the engine off. Now, I mentioned fuel economy a few moments ago. I will insert the fuel economy figures on the screen. You're looking somewhere between 30 and 35 mpg. Although, yeah, as you can see, the way how I've been driving it, I haven't been able to get into the 20s. I've been getting mostly high teens. So yeah, I've been a little bit exuberant with my right foot. So step into the back. As always, the driver's seat is set for me. I'm 6'2", so I am a taller chap. You'll have to excuse the pillowcase. I don't want to get the rear mat scrubby. Just saves having to clean them. Even though the driver's seat is set for my height, by the way, there's 3 memory functions for the driver's seat. Even though it's set up for me, I've still got a good amount of knee room left over, plenty of leg room. Bring you down here. There we go. Lots of space there. No complaints. And even though the body shape is of a more coupe nature, am I zoomed out? No, there we go, that's better. Even though this is of a more coupe body shape, I've actually got a very agreeable amount of headroom, which is quite surprising. Fitting 3 adults in the back is going to be quite tight, to be honest, but for 2 adults, it'd be absolutely fine. It goes without saying of a car of this day and age, but you do have ISOFIX points, as I touched upon earlier. You do have climate control in the rear, and you also have 2 Type-C charging ports. You have to excuse some of my filming equipment. It's been a bit of a busy day. Almost forgot to mention, you do have a centre armrest with 3 cup holders, 2 larger ones and one for an energy drink, and you've also got a hatch which you can feed longer items through, such as, oh, hang on a minute, he says. So you can feed skis through here, or bits of wood, or anything long that you need to move about. I love the seats in the Formentor. I'm tempted to Well, I was going to say I'm tempted to nick them and bolt them into my Land Cupra, but I really like the seats of my Land Cupra, to be fair. But anyway, onto the boot. So the boot space remains unchanged from the last Formentor. You'll have to excuse the boot; it's organised chaos. Fear not, it will be tidied before I start driving, because I don't want that camera flying about. That's quite expensive. Yeah, the boot space remains unchanged. So if you go for this version with the 4-drive all-wheel drive system, the boot is had a brain fart. It's 420 litres, if I'm not mistaken. The standard Formentor is 450 litres, if I recall correctly. I'm doing this all from memory, but if you go for the hybrid, that falls down to, I think, 365 litres. If you fold down the rear seats in this car, you'll get 1,475 litres. So if you want the biggest boot available, you'll need to go for a front-wheel drive Formentor that hasn't got the hybrid system. But yeah, if you go for the 4-drive system or the hybrid, you're going to lose out on boot space. But yeah, I will cut to a clip where the boot is emptier, because you can't really get an idea of boot space when it's filled with my crap. So I will do that. So quite a practical car, not the most practical car in its class, arguably, but yeah, I'd say more practical than a Golf R. Right, speaking of Golf R, onto the engine. And this, of course, has the EA888, which is used in the Golf R and the Audi S3 for that matter. Now you can have it in two different options of tune. Oh, that is a really heavy bonnet. So this version offers 333 horsepower along with 420 newton meters of torque. This will hit 62 miles per hour in 4.8 seconds, and top speed is limited to 155. So this has more power compared to the last Formentor. Last Formentor was 310 horsepower with 400 newton meters of torque. So yes, this has a bit more power, thanks to a different tune in the map and the revisions made to the throttle body and the turbo. I could tell you more, but it'd be a little bit nerdy. In regards to economy, like I say, you're looking somewhere between 30 and 35 mpg on a combined run. I will pop them in as a caption, and I'll also put in the CO2 emissions, so and also how much you're paying for road tax, because I don't know those numbers off the top of my head, because they always seem to be changing year on year. Oh yes, yes, you can have the EA888 in a detuned version of 265 horsepower. If the 333 is too much for you, I think the 265 is the same as the Golf GTI, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. You can also have a 1.5 litre turbocharged petrol, which is available as either a mild hybrid or a plug-in hybrid. The plug-in hybrid can offer up to 62 miles of EV only driving, so that could be quite handy if you have short commutes to work. But yeah, if I were buying a Formentor, and believe me, I wish I could, I'd be having this one. Anyway, that aside, it's time for me to finish, because I've been talking for quite some time. If there's anything you'd like to know more about on this car, please do let me know. Drop me a question in the comment section. Just bear in mind, I've only had this car for a week, so if you're looking for any long-term knowledge on what this car is like to live with, or if you're looking for more of a owner's perspective, I can't give you that, because yeah, I've had this for quite a short amount of time. I've had this for this car is around for a good time, not a long time, let's put it that way. So yeah, but any questions you present to me, I will answer them as quickly as I can and to the best of my ability. If you ever enjoyed this video or found it useful, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.